Fighting games. We all know what they are and we all played them at least once in our lives. But when it comes to mobile, there's not much fighting games to play. Yeah, you got your turn-based and your RPG types, but do we really count those as fighting games? Today I'll be taking a deep dive into actual mobile fighting games and to see what they have to offer. Mortal Kombat. I'm pretty sure you heard of the console port of Mortal Kombat, but they actually had two different mobile ports. One was Mortal Kombat Onslaught, which I'm pretty sure recently got shut down or is shutting down. And then we have the other Mortal Kombat, which is like an actual fighting game for mobile, except the fact that it's only a 3-tap swipe system. Now with the system, it's not necessarily bad, except the fact that how Mortal Kombat did it was bad. The reason I called it the 3-tap swipe system is because that's the only thing you can do besides the special move. It's only the 3 taps and the swipes, which is not fun in my opinion. I feel as though that when it comes to fighting games, there should be more in depth to it. Now with Warner Bros., the other mobile fighting game for Injustice 2 and Injustice Gods Among Us, Injustice 2 is way better than Gods Among Us, and both of them are better than Mortal Kombat, but I will get to those later. But for now, I'm only going to be talking about Mortal Kombat, which sucks. If I'm being completely honest, the only thing it has going for it is memorable characters like Scorpion, Sub-Zero. But besides that, it's bad, and you cannot tell me they did not have the resources to make an actually good fighting game, because the animation and art style looks like it came from Mortal Kombat X. But besides all of that, I feel as though this game was just a mere cash grab, and I feel as though that's why it's not that good. Anyways, that's my opinion on this one. MCOC or Marvel Contest Champion. This is a Marvel fighting game port. We don't count the emulator that uses Marvel vs. Capcom, or at least not at this moment. This game also uses the 3-tap swipe system, but instead it has 5 taps, a hold down, and the swipe as an actual attack instead of a combo ender, unless you use it to end the combo. But almost everything you do is an attack. Even some evasion or defensive maneuvers are attacks. You can evade and still attack the enemy at the same time, depending on what character you are using. This one is slightly better than the Mortal Kombat one because you can combo and do special attacks, interrupt the opponent medium attacks or slight attacks, and heavy attacks are block breakers. But the downfall of this one is only Pacific characters have combinations with other Pacific characters, unlike later on in the list where other characters can combo with any character at all. So this was my first fighting game on mobile, so I have to give it its props. It's what got me into mobile fighting game, and if it wasn't for this game, I'm pretty sure I'd be still playing Subway Surfers or Mini Rush. Unlike most things on the list, Brawlhalla is a direct copy from PC and console to mobile. Almost everything a PC or a console player has, a mobile player also has. The only major thing that's different is some minor features. Seeing weapons animation or as a chat log. Yes, it also promotes some bad playstyle like spamming or passive. Brawlhalla has always been about use what's work. If you're seeing results with spamming, then spam. If you're seeing results with passive, then play passive. You will be looked down upon by the community, but it's still your playstyle. That's how you want to play. Hell, sometimes you can run into a very chill player like this. Yes, for 2 minutes straight out of the match, we sat there using emotes. Only downside about mobile players playing on mobile is the lag. While some PC or console players may experience lag, it's not as bad as the lag on mobile. And the other thing are the hard controls to use. While yes, the controls are hard to use, it's also customizable. And you can even buy a controller for your mobile device. So with controller, you're gonna have to learn some moves, and some moves are easier to use on mobile than on controller. Blaster and light to recovery is easier on mobile for me, while hammer, ground pound, and to dare is easier on controller for me. The only downside that mobile players have on Brawlhalla is their ping and their skill level. One, you can train up and get to a higher skill level, while with the ping, you just kinda have to deal with it. Sorry. Brawlhalla is and will be one of the best mobile fighter games to ever exist and ever do it. The last thing I want to add is fuck sight. I'm just get both of these out in one run. Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom. While Marvel vs. Capcom is a emulator game, Street Fighter 4 is specifically was made for mobile. The thing is, they both kinda suck ass. With Street Fighter 4, you only get 4 characters, which are Ryu, Zangief, Chun-Li, and that one biker dude. Name start with the G. I ain't loading up the game to figure out his name. And the thing is, you can only play like the story mode, which is not really a story mode. You just fight the 4 characters, and then that's it. There's nothing else to do. And in order to do anything else, you have to pay for it. And then even then, I don't know how to pay for it. Not that I was going to anyway, but still, it just kind of sucked. Now, with Marvel vs. Capcom, it did the thing it was supposed to do, emulate the game from console to mobile. Thing is, you have to watch an ad to play the game. That's what the coin system is. You have to press coin twice, and 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give you an ad. And then even with that, they have a tutorial, which kind of sucks because it's not really a tutorial. It's just someone else playing the game. And then Street Fighter 4 don't even have controller support. While Marvel vs. Capcom do, it kind of sucks on controller too. I've played on both mobile and controller, and it was not good. I won't be mad if both these games just fall off of mobile Earth. But regardless, they were still fun for a little while. Hell, I even go back to play Marvel vs. Capcom a little bit and still have fun slightly. Probably because it's an emulator and wasn't specifically made for mobile. But still, Marvel vs. Capcom is clearly the better of these two, but both of these kinda suck. Snag seems like an indie fighting game. It's probably not, but there's a good chance that it actually is. Snag is a low-profile fighting game on mobile. It has a roster of 8 to 9 characters, and you can only get 4 of them for free while you have to pay for everyone else or watch an ad to use. 2 of these characters you just straight out have to buy. 2 of them you unlock the story mode. Another 2 you can watch ad to use, and there's a one hidden character, which really isn't hidden, but she is not in the story mode. But you still have to watch an ad to play her. It has the same controls as Street Fighter 4, but it's somehow better. The combos are easier to learn and do. The super moves are at a press of your button with no extra movement. And hell, it even has an easy way to do air combos. The only problem is the overwhelming amount of ads. Granted, it's mainly just got one Facebook ad, but still, it has an overwhelming amount of ads, and that's damn near make it unplayable. But it has such a fun playstyle that you just can't stop playing. Well, you can if you do find a better fighting game, but still. Now, there is another game that's like this, but have a huge step up to it. But I'll be talking about that later on the list. Either way, it had huge expectation, but it was just a cash grab. Well, I can't say that. It was just poorly made with all the ads. Vita Fighter, the upgrade to Snag. Vita Fighter has all the same control as Snag, but does something that's better than Snag. It has 34 fucking characters on its roster, with 19 of them being completely free. None of them you can watch an ad to use, and the other 9 you have to pay for. But if you pay for those, you lose all the ads. And if you buy bundle pack number 4, you get all the characters. The online testing part is in alpha, so I can't play it right now. My only problem with this game are the two bosses. Because in the arcade mode you have the what you think is the boss. That could be one or two characters, and then you have the actual boss, which is two characters. One of two characters. Adult Gain, which is a Gon variant, and Evil Xing Long, which is a Xing Long variant, which is a character in the game. Either way, this game is hella fun, and honestly, I feel as though more people should play it. As of me doing these voice memos, I can't play it because it keeps crashing. I don't know why, but yeah. Super Dragon Punch Force 3 is a new title to me. Like when I went on my rampage to download mobile fighting game, this one was very new and I did not know what it was. With that being said, it has a interesting fighting mechanic. Unlike your other mobile fighting games, it has a button layout of 1 through 4 with an S for a super move and a back and forth arrow on the other side of the screen. Now for me, this game has huge potential. It's just in beta, as it says on the game. But even with that, I have high hopes for this game because it's honestly already fun. And this honestly gives me hope for when I finally get my computer and start my fighting game that I can do well also. With the roster of a 8 character, you can get them all for free and without having to buy them for just grinding out the game. That's honestly a great deal. And the fact that it's in beta makes it even more worth looking forward to and investing in. And best part about it, you start off with like 3 characters off for rip, and I already bought 2 characters already. For what, playing for like a day tops in general? While yes, there is microtransactions, they are not needed. They are mainly for skins. And then even then, you get the skins for free for just playing. It honestly has high hopes to be one of the best fighting games on mobile devices. Injustice 2, the better Warner Bros. Fighting game port. Well, for mobile that is. This game had the same 3-tap swipe system, except it has a jump attack and a low attack, which is unblockable. My only problem with this game is that the controls get a little bit wonky at times, and sometimes they feel as fluid as water. What separates this game from the other ones is that the damage counter actually matters. In other games, you just have, funny little numbers go up every time you get a consecutive hit. While in this game, the amount of hits you do actually matters. For every 20 hit combo you do, every special move or the super move you have does 100 damage. And as far as I know, this could go up infinitely. I've personally gotten up to like a good 40-50 hit combo, but only was able to do like a 195 payoff because my combo will end up breaking. And just like MCOC, if you get a blocked hit that don't remove your combo. Unlike in Skullgirl, where if you do drop your combo, you drop your combo. But honestly, that's all I can praise it for. The story mode is alright. How you collect the characters are kinda bad, and it honestly runs super slow. So with MCOC or Skullgirls, how you collect the characters are you open the box or relics or gems or whatever it is. And depending on what type of relic or gem you open, you get a character off rip or you get resources. Prominent in Marvel, that's the champions. While in Skullgirls, you have your daily relic, which has a 1% chance to unlock a variant, and that's it. Every other relic you open will give you either resources, depending on the relic it is, to give you resources. That relic only give you resources, or it gives you a new variant. And by new, I mean it's 9 times out of 10 going to be bronze. You have a good chance that it's going to be silver, but gold and diamond, you can just forget about it unless you're really lucky. This is the only game where you can get shards of characters, which really dive into the RPG or gacha system and turn-based fighting games, not real-time fighting games. It honestly is one of the best fighting games on this list, but the shard system is kinda not worth it. And I know they probably haven't updated this game in a while, but please just remove the shard system. Just give us lower tier characters. But I will say I understand it. Because with Skullgirls, you just get a duplicate of that variant. And with Marvel COC, upgrade that character you already had. While with Injustice and other turn-based games, the more stars you unlock on a character, the better they are. So while the shard system is bad, it's kinda makes sense. And I know I asked them to change it beforehand, but they're not gonna watch this and I can go back on the Marvel anytime I want to. But once you start with the shard system, you have to stick with the shard system. You can't change it midway or years later on the line. The infamous indie fighting game. Wait, did I use that word right? Oh. Well, the reputable indie fighting game. This is also a 3-type swipe system, but it's the best to do it. Injustice came very close to it, but this one does something that Injustice don't. You can combo outside of the special moves. Actually, the special moves are a key factor into comboing with this game. And unlike everything else with Star System, this game actually has a rank system. So instead of going like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, mega star, it actually goes bronze, silver, gold, and diamond, with every special move having a bronze, silver, or a gold variant of it. And something that is different is that the special moves aren't just special moves. They have special moves and blockbusters. Now the blockbusters are like the super moves, special moves, and every other fighting game was like the 1, 2, and 3. This game also have that with the blockbuster level 1, blockbuster level 2, and blockbuster level 3. The only difference is you have 5 slots on a character, which represents how much special moves or blockbusters you can have. You can have all blockbusters or you can have all special moves. It doesn't matter. You can't just have repeat blockbuster moves. That's the only thing. And the slots have a point system on it too. Every blockbuster is represented with a point system, either 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. 7 and 8 are reserved for tier 3 blockbusters, which are unblockable. And this game shows a great example of what the unblockable blockbusters are. Unlike Injustice and Marvel Contest of Champions, this one don't randomly appear. Don't instantly use it. Unless they do, and you have to hope you have enough HP to tank it, because it does a ton of damage. Even if it's not the tier 3 blockbuster that kills you, it's gonna be the debuffs that's gonna kill you. This game is heavily reliant on debuffs and buffs, and the fact that there's almost 30 of each. You have your regen, you have your bleed, you have your buff blocker, your debuff blocker, special move restrictments, and then you have a couple of niche ones like Power Surge, which deal like 10% damage every time you use a blockbuster. Unlike the other ones, this one have a stack limit of 5 or 1. Your bleed can stack up to 5 times. A debuff called Heavy Bleed can only stack up to 1 time, meaning it can only be 1 debuff. Now some of these you can sneak through with having 10 stacks with the 3 debuff types, which are permanent, timeless, and timed. Timed is your average debuff. This is gonna apply for this amount of seconds. While timeless is not on a time limit but still can be removed. But permanent can only be removed by certain signature abilities or how they was put on you. I'm pretty sure there are some characters that reflect permanent doom, which doom is a debuff that kills you after a certain amount of time. But depending on the character, if they tag out or die while the doom is still intact, then you will not die afterwards because the doom get removed. Say a character want to remove a permanent, well, they can. And trust, almost every character have a way to remove a debuff or a buff. But just like Injustice, passive abilities, every character have their own ability that's unique to them. Peacock have an ability that lets her go into the ground and just not take damage for a certain amount of time. So this is counteract with the unblockable blockbuster. Big Bang Dash like you have to hit twice to actually affect them, because the first one he's just gonna ignore. Black Dahlia has a gun for her special move. I'm not joking. That's it. She just has a gun with every third or sixth shot being changed. The sixth one being random, and the third one is depending on the element she is. Speaking of element, that's another system they have. There are 6 elements in the game. You have your earth, fire, and water, and you also have your light, dark, and neutral. Neutral is not affected by anything. Light and dark deal 20% damage buff to each other, and water has a 20% damage buff to fire, but have a 20% damage penalty to earth. Same thing to fire to earth and fire to water, and earth to water and earth to fire. The reason this is important is there's only 13 characters in the game, but every character has a different variant and different element on the variant. And then every rank is a different character or variant. So your bronze dark black dahlia is not the same as your gold dark black dahlia because they have 2 different sets of abilities. So signature ability, that is. Now the signature ability is the ability that is unique to every character or every variant as long as it's not a duplicate. So you can't have the same variant and expect different signature abilities. Let's take Peacock for an example. Peacock Gold Fire is a reference to the Grinch called the Mean One. Her signature abilities are every projectile has a chance to turn the opponent buff into a random debuff. And her second one has something to do with Enrage. While Bronze Fire Peacock signature ability is that every character has a 20% decrease on tagging in. And when they tag in, they get a 5-second enrage. Now, I'm not going to go over all the buffs and debuffs. Someone else already did that. But for this example, I'll just tell you, enrage gives a damage increase buff, which does more depending on the stack of enrage. So it does 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. So with 5 stacks in enrage, you're essentially just doubling your damage that you averagely do. Now, with all of this being said, Skullgirls is my favorite mobile fighting game and is probably one of the best mobile fighting games, if not the best mobile fighting game. Though being overshadowed by titles like Mortal Kombat and Injustice, it's probably not going to get that much recognition. Also, I highly despise my old self for getting rid of good variants, extremely rare variants.